President Trump has sort of let the cat out of the bag, as it were, saying that uh, they, there has been a lot of discussion about uh, trying to stop this nuclear program. Obviously, this is something that President Trump has agreed with Prime Minister Netanyahu on from the very beginning. Iran cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons.
Well, more now on the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. We're joined by Simone Ledeen, who was the Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East in the last Trump administration, the 2016 administration. Hello to you.
Good morning. Hello.
The president has sent out the message that the United States had absolutely nothing to do with Israel's current attack on Iran. What should we make of that?
Yes, that was a message that I think Secretary Rubio issued right after the hostilities started. I think since there's been a little more information given specifically by President Trump about the fact that, we are helping, it's clear we are coordinating behind the scenes with the Israelis in terms of intelligence sharing, and also, most importantly, in terms of the provision of weapons, most specifically for the Iron Dome, but also for other defensive other materials that are being used in defensive actions.
There are those saying that the United States did not want this action, and of course we know that Mr. Witkoff was due for another round of negotiations this weekend before the attack started. Has Donald Trump been defied by Prime Minister Netanyahu on this?
I don't believe that he was. I believe that, as I said, there's a lot of coordination that goes into something like this. And again, it's clear, and President Trump has sort of let the cat out of the bag, as it were, saying that there has been a lot of discussion about trying to stop this nuclear program. Obviously, this is something that President Trump has agreed with Prime Minister Netanyahu on from the very beginning. Iran cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons. And unfortunately, in parallel to a really honest attempt from the Trump administration to enter into negotiations, to continue negotiations, Iran, unfortunately, on the back end, was continuing to build out its nuclear program. And the Israeli intelligence services assessed they were very close, and their leadership made the decision to attack the nuclear program. That doesn't mean that negotiation is dead forever. I think both the United States and maybe Israel as well hopes that Iran will go back to the negotiating table in good faith and actually try to work on an agreement that ends this war. I think that's still possible, actually. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but I do. I think Iran's negotiating position has been significantly reduced, obviously, and so, when they had a very strong position, they didn't want to negotiate. They were just playing games. Now, perhaps if there were new negotiations, perhaps that calculus it must change, because it has changed.
So you don't think the most likely outcome is, the destruction of the deep nuclear facilities of Iran that many experts are saying only US weapons could achieve?
Well, there's one known nuclear facility for now that does. The assessment is that the attack, in order to sort of stop the work they're doing there, would have to reach levels that only U.S. munitions could reach. But Israel has already attacked several other nuclear sites in Iran. And I've seen assessments that they've at least rolled back the Iranian nuclear program by several years. So I wouldn't say, I think the difference is that U.S. involvement in an offensive manner would maybe end this more quickly. I think the Israelis have a plan. I'm sure that they do for now, for example, but it might take a much longer time.
And just finally, diplomatically, this is a coup, isn't it, for the Israeli leadership, because they've made Western allies, including Britain, who've been critical, once more come effectively to their support.
Well, I think if I were to look out at this situation strategically, it seems to me that the Israeli government, made the assessment that they were not going to get help from the UK or European partners, and that they assessed that the threat was serious enough from Iran, from the Iranian nuclear program, that they just needed to act regardless. I think that's clear. And I know it's an uncomfortable position for many governments, but I think it's pretty clear that that's what happened. So, the UK and other governments are in the position of trying to decide how they're going to respond. And now that the Iranian air defenses have been basically demolished, and the ballistic missiles have been greatly reduced. Obviously, we see them working very hard every night. They're attacking Israeli civilian sites. And so we'll see how things progress. But yes, it's true that Israel, in the end, made the decision to act without a green light from many governments, including the UK's.
Iran launched a barrage of missile attacks on Israel, killing Jews and Arabs, assaulting people of all facets of life in Israel. We are seeing here the enormous destruction of an Iranian missile, but we are determined. We are determined to change the fate of the region, to lead it towards peace by undermining Iran's capability to threaten us existentially and threaten the region as a whole. Tomorrow, the G7 summit will start, and I call upon the leadership of the free world. You really want to de-escalate, then enable us and work with us to get the nukes out of Iran, the nuclear capability, the nuclear technology, its risk to the world, and of course its missile capability. And I trust fully the Israelis, who are showing incredible resilience. I know my nation very well. We're a united nation, we're a strong nation, we have a strong army and an incredible people. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, these attacks are...